What's going on, guys? It's Frito here. Season 19 is just around the corner. It's going to release on Tuesday, meaning that this weekend, starting tomorrow, there's going to be competitive drives if that's your thing. Season 19 is Halloween themed, and if the previous year's Halloween game modes are anything to go by, some of these systems they're toying around with for a fun game mode might be something that we see in either the main competitive game or Stadium down the line, as they've used Junkenstein's lab to influence either the perk system, Stadium, and now they've even got items in Stadium. There's a lot of complexity being added to Overwatch over time. In November, the Overwatch Championship Series Finals will be on. It's been a while since I've made esports content, but it has been picking up steam these last years, despite the Overwatch League's collapse. Leave me a comment down below if you want me to make some epic breakdown videos like I did back in the day. Now let's take a look at the Haunted Masquerade game mode. You can pick the mask of any character to wear to get a small passive bonus. It's sort of like mix and matching a mini perk from a main item shop almost. Here's a few that really stand out to me. Reaper's Mask can give any character lifesteal. Tracer's Mask will give you move speed. Those are some of the more try-hard sweaty ones, but there's quite a few you could imagine would be pretty devastating. A Tracer wearing a Genji mask to give Tracer a double jump sounds kind of terrifying. A few of them are pretty gimmicky though. Deal additional damage while on pedal platform, only going to work with the combo itself. Or Junkrat's Mask, your enemies will explode on death. Put that on a Genji who already is swift striking to complete eliminations, and well, you're probably going to get a team wipe there for sure. Then on top of that, there are special combos, which will perhaps be the strongest aspect about this. Winston becomes the bomb, diving in with Tracer's Pulse Bomb, or Brigitte can sync up her shields with Reinhardt, just like in the comic. This is kind of the start of a Marvel Rivals team-up mechanic, building an Overwatch and something they might consider, though it isn't as hyper-competitive as the rest of the main game, so perhaps something that doesn't go there. However, a global item shop doesn't seem to be entirely off the table, considering they're going to be trying to add some big beat of item every year, and perks was the thing for this year. So where else do they really have to go from there? It's got to go somewhere. And we know that these early October modes were playgrounds for the eventual systems we got later, so I expect them to utilize it for that yet again. Stadium gets 3 new heroes added, Sojourn, Hazard, and Torbjorn. It's been a while since I've grinded Stadium, so I can't really say a strong opinion one way or the other on this. Multi-turrets, disruptor shots when you're sliding. Hazard gets a powerful ranged attack or can burst damage his spikes. Some of these things I often wonder if they could be used in a smaller version as perks in the main game as well, because that's something that they clearly did in season 18. So I think we should always be on the lookout for that. Even a budget version of a cool concept may be toned down for the main game. It seems like their strategy this time was to try to level out the queue times a bit by not adding a support to Stadium, because they already have all of the most fun characters in the support role for now, making the queue times really lopsided. So instead, they gave Ana a rework. 4 powers get retired, but get put in as items instead, with new powers to replace them. Shooting your sleep dart through your scope, exploding into a nade that upgrades your teammate, giving them nano down the line. I mean, that's just getting crazy out there in Stadium. But I think for sure, Ana, being as fun as she is a character that they should put a lot of TLC into to play better in Stadium at any opportunity they can. Because at least for me, I just get tired of seeing Moira and Mercy and Juno every single game. I don't find them very fun to play with or against, because they perma-fly in the sky. And I'm not going to review Stadium in this video, but I've got my issues with the mode. However, something I do think is pretty cool, they added a gadget shop for single-use items with a big impact, it seems. Here, Reinhardt pops his consumable and grows larger, which I have to imagine means his melee hits are easier to hit, as well as gaining health and damage reduction. But with limited uses, either once a round perhaps, or on a very long cooldown, you're gonna have to be very tactical on when you use them. However, I do think that adds a very important aspect of Stadium gameplay, and yet another thing to consider when you're shopping around looking for optimizing your build. The balance patch for season 19, we don't have the full patch notes yet, but they did say that the Tracer Flashback, Illari Solar Flare, Junker Queen Charge, and many more perks will be getting tuned, with the goal of making sure they're they're meeting their impact expectations. The perk system is the gift that keeps on giving, namely because we don't have to just rotate around the hero balance numbers endlessly for no good reason. Instead, they can transform the perks, keep the game having texture instead of just flat balance as the main goal. And I think every couple of months, that means you'll have a reason to try out your favorite heroes yet again, as even just tweaking a few things is going to really radically change the plays you get to make in game. I'm a huge fan. It's the greatest thing ever. I think Season 18 is rather on the heavy-handed side of power creep, but it's fun and feels like Overwatch to me. I'm curious to see how they decide to go about things down the line. For me, the main game feels like a toned down version of Stadium a lot of the times, with how many wacky things that can pop up all of a sudden. You play a game and then not realize the enemy Mei gets the full freeze major perk, and that catches you out. It's almost as much of a learning curve as Stadium feels sometimes. And then as well, over time, certain perks really change their personality as the community starts to really master them. Reaper's short-range TP, I think, is one of the biggest ones in that type of category, where players have really mastered how to utilize it mid-fight. And the thing I love about it is in another season cycle or so, or next year, they might redo all of them. Keep that one on the shelf, keep the core of the hero the same, not have to rework the heroes each time, but they can rework the perks, or at least shuffle them up to add some variety to the gameplay years into the future. So even something you don't necessarily like or love, you might have your mind changed due to the gameplay shifts that happen as they keep rotating things in and out. Mythic skins for the season. Lifeweaver gets a mythic, looking handsome. Kiriko's weapons are insane. We know Kiri gets the biggest love from the skin department, so of course her mythic weapon is going to look incredible. But also Junkrat gets a weapon skin at the mid-season. Hooray for me. They're making a consolidation of the story so far, with aims to kind of move forward with that down the line. The last few dev updates have really been talking a lot about the trajectory of the game over long term. I don't have time to talk about it in this video quite yet, but the game director, the art director, really dropping heavy-handed either clues or just big statements about what their next year's plans are. They're swinging for the fences. They're no longer coming at everything with a sheepish apologetic tone for all of the misgivings and mistakes they made years ago. A lot of them weren't even on the team anyway. Now they're changing gears and saying that they're going to ramp things up in a new direction. So I'll make another video talking about all of the new hints of the direction of the future of the game in an upcoming video. And while we don't get a new hero in Season 19, there will be a hero trial for Hero 45 in Season 20. But we didn't get any information about the new hero yet. However, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that's definitely her. Probably the most heavy-handed hint they've ever given. A direct silhouette of an unnamed character, but there's like a sword. She's kind of posing almost like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. So is this a melee-based squishy hero? You know, back in the day, they had to split up the Shimada character. They were originally going to be a combination of Hanzo and Genji as the same character, and they split them into being brothers. Early ideations of Overwatch 1 were trying to make Genji have his sword be his main weapon. They eventually turned it into his ultimate, so making a melee-based, maybe damage character would be an interesting challenge for the developer team. However, with the new hero-focused, perk-based kits that we have nowadays, anything is really possible, because we have characters that can kind of come online with their perks coming online. Venture is nearly an entirely melee-based hero as it is. And also, if we look at the trajectory of the heroes they've been designing with this new team really having their sea legs under them, they've mostly been making things that feel kind of safe and inoffensive. As in, the entire community doesn't like balk at the basic hero kit, calling it broken and unplayable immediately. But try to remember, Season 20 is going to be coming next year. And they've really been trying their best to say it as loud as they can, to very little fanfare, frankly, that next year is a big year. Aaron's going big. The apology tour is over. And believe me, Blizzard Entertainment is going to be putting whoever this hero is at the centerpiece of that mission. It's not just the new character, it's the new vision for the game going big, huge, bigger, massive, more, betterer, whatever that means. I mean, I don't know if I can say. but I do know that they weren't making big promises before, and all of a sudden now they are. But like nobody's listening. But keep in mind, the dev team takes a prolonged holiday break in November and December, so all the work for next year already done. They're wrapping things up over there and telling us to brace for impact. So we'll have fun with our Halloween themed event, but turning the corner into the holiday season towards next year is going to be a big splash, it seems like, based on their words and amp up that they've been doing across many developer updates we've been watching in these last few weeks. All right, guys, that's everything for the video. Sorry for the long absence. I had to move yet again, but with things going well and settling over here, you can expect a lot more content coming down the pipeline. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave it a like, and don't forget to click subscribe and the bell icon to actually get notified when my videos come live. Leave a like if you did enjoy. That's been it for me. I've been Frito. I'll see you guys next time.